waiting for some people to hop on. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Paula Swope, and I am known as the most relatable spiritual coach on social media. And so I thought I would invite you all in for an open Q&A about anything you want to ask me about spirituality or manifestation or synchronicity or whatever's on your mind while I work on my Christmas decorations. And so TikTok Live allows me to do two of my favorite things at the same time, and that's decorate for Christmas and talk to you guys. So I'm going to spend a little while with you. Anything you have on your mind you want to ask me, just ask away while I decorate here. Some people are hopping on. Where's everybody from? I'm in Kentucky. So if you're just joining, what we're doing here is I'm just going to spend a little time with you while I do my Christmas decorating and answer any questions you may have about anything in the spiritual space, whether that be the spiritual laws or manifestation, or if you have any questions about synchronicity or anything you might be struggling with emotionally that might be blocking you from manifesting what you want. I usually do structured live workshops when I'm on TikTok Live, but I don't have a script or anything like that today. I'm just here to open it up to any questions that you have and answer those as best I can. Oh, hey there, Paul, I love your videos. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here for it all. I got a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline over these next few weeks. I'm in the middle of a branding campaign, and my book's going to launch at the beginning of the year, and a podcast and all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm super excited, and it's my favorite time of the year. It's Christmas. Have any of you started your Christmas decorations yet? It's like a bunch of people are hopping on. Just so you know, I just opened it up today as just a Q&A, no structure, no agenda. I'm just here to answer whatever questions you have related to the spiritual space while I work on my Christmas decorations. It takes me about 2 or 3 weeks to get all these done because I completely overdo it. See, a lot of people are hopping on. Do any of you have any questions you want me to answer for you today about manifestation or spirituality or synchronicity or those number sequences that blow everybody's mind? Oh, thank you, Mina. I love watching your videos and your in-depth explanations. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. I can easily manifest the small stuff, but the things I desperately want don't come so easily. Well, let me tell you why. It's that desperate word. And so when we are in desperate mode, that sends a message to the universe that's just lack. And that desperate energy attracts other desperate things. And so I'm sure that you've heard people say, you can't chase, you've got to attract. I'm sure you've heard people say that. So when we're desperate, we're heavily focusing on it and we're doubting. And so if we're desperate, then we are doubting that the outcome that we want is gonna happen, and that will block us. And so when you feel that way, the absolute best thing you can do is adopt some daily spiritual practices that will help you be more mindfully aware and more grounded. And of course, meditation is the #1 way to do that. When those feelings of desperation come in, and when it boils right down to it, all those types of feelings are nothing but fear. And they all creep in on us sometimes. But if you hold that feeling of desperation for too long, then it'll match other energies that are similar, and anything that is matched with desperation is not going to be something that you want. And so try pranayama. If you're not familiar with pranayama, I have some information about it on my website at paulaswope.com. The link is in my bio on my profile page. But there are tons of YouTube videos that you can look up about pranayama. And coherence breathing is great when you are feeling fearful and nervous, because it calms your nervous system. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system. And that will also help you get rid of some of those feelings of desperation. Okay, I hope that helps. I keep seeing 222. What does that mean? Ooh, I love to see 222 because that means a new beginning. A lot of people, well, I'll tell you this first. My information about number sequences comes from two different sources, okay? It comes from my primary research, which is mainly qualitative, because I've used my own experiences and then other people's experiences when they see number sequences, what's going on in their lives. So that's one source of my information, and the other source is the secondary literature that's been out there for years and years and years, okay? So 222, a lot of people see 222 when right before they get engaged, or when they buy a house, close on a house. So it's all about new beginnings. 222 is about fresh starts and new beginnings, usually, okay? Does that resonate? Are you anticipating a new beginning of some sort? Jilly Bean, Jilly Bean? Yeah, I see 1111 all the time, multiple times a week for years. Okay, so when you see those double digits like that, my research and my experiences, usually that points in the direction that whatever's going on has got double the power, okay? 1111 shows up to say, hey, your thoughts are manifesting. Keep a close eye on your thoughts, okay? And so if your thoughts are not focused on what you want, see, those are manifesting too. So when that one sequence starts following you around, you want to make sure that you are focused on what you want, because your thoughts are manifesting. But anytime you see number sequences, especially that one sequence, that's your manifestation number. And so it's a powerful sequence to see, and you wouldn't be seeing it if you weren't aligned with what you want, but sometimes we can get off track. And so when that one sequence pops up, just pay attention to what you're thinking about in that moment. And if you're, thinking about something that isn't aligned with what you want, then you just want to make that shift in your thinking and just keep doing that, okay? It works like a charm. What does it mean that I saw every triple number sequence throughout the day, like 222 and 333? So I've been doing that a whole lot here lately too. And so when you see those triple number sequences throughout the day, there is definitely something brewing. And usually they come at a time when you are maybe torn about making a decision, like maybe you're contemplating taking some type of a risk or something, and they'll show up throughout the day to say, hey, keep moving forward. And if they start showing up and you're contemplating taking a risk, more than likely you should take that risk. And they appear that way, and this is just me, and my experiences can be different from yours, but with me, when they show up like that, I'm usually contemplating taking a risk, because I'm a person who takes risk a lot. Hey, Sarah. Hi, Paul. I've never seen you live. Yeah, I've got to get in the habit of going live more often. I'm going to be doing that more often, and I really enjoy it. It's just it's been a time factor. And so I'm getting into the habit of making it part of my daily rituals. I'm glad you're here. Okay. Paula, do we always need to remove something in our life to get something new? No. The only time that you need to remove something is when something is no longer serving you. Like if there is a relationship, let's just say a relationship, and that relationship is causing you more harm than good, more stress than relaxation, a relationship like that can really, really hold you back and cause, you know, new doors to not open. Because think about it. If you're in a situation that aggravates and irritates you, okay, if you're irritated a lot, then that irritation is an energetic vibe that attracts and it attaches, it aligns with stuff you don't want. Health issues, money problems, more things that irritate you, okay? Because remember, see, the universe can't distinguish between what's good or bad. It gives us how we feel most often, what we think about most often, what we talk about most often. It just sends that right back. And so, no, you don't necessarily have to get rid of something to get something new. But if it's something that isn't serving you, then yeah, you need to get rid of it, usually, before that something new can come in. I hope that answers your question. Hi, Paula, do you believe in spirit guides and guardian angels? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I ask the angels for assistance just about every single day. And I mean, none of us really know anything for sure, right? But based on my experiences and based on everything I've learned over the 17 years that I have been in the spiritual space personally, and then, you know, now professionally, I was taught, Doreen Virtue, Gabby Bernstein, those are the two main people that taught me how to call on the angels and how to communicate with the angels. And so you have to keep the lines of communication open with the angels. And I don't know if you know this or not, they're on standby to help you, help all of us, but you have to invite them in. And so if you need help with something, then you call on the angels, you invite them in, tell them what you need help with. And if you haven't done this before, I recommend starting with something small. I remember when I first started talking to the angels, as crazy and outlandish as that sounds to some people, and it even still sounds that way to me when I say it sometimes, but they've helped me out so much. I'm a firm believer. But I started with something really small. I remember I was getting ready for work one morning, and I invited the angels in. I said, angels, will you please help me just get my hair in a hairstyle very quickly that looks halfway decent? And I remember I was running late that morning, you know, and what do you know? I mean, it was very simple to get my hair the way I wanted it for work. And I mean, that's just a really tiny example of how you can get started talking to the angels. And then as you get more confident and you build that relationship, then you can start asking for bigger things. And so I often invite them in just to be with me every single day and everything that I do. And so, yeah. So, yeah, God, yeah, I believe. Absolutely. Fit at 50, I just love your channel and wisdom. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, I talk with them and ask for messages, and I get messages in some way or another and protection. Yeah, I do too. I do too. Every single time. And I have found that the more I communicate with the angels, the clearer the communication and the guidance comes through, and then I will actually thank them for it. You know, just to acknowledge that, hey, you know, thanks. I really appreciate that. Let's do this again. And then when I talk to them again and ask for help again, I'll say, hey, you know, can we continue this relationship like we did, you know, when you helped me the last time? And then I will thank them again for what they did for me the last time, and then, you know, keep moving forward. So that's always been my mode of operation. Yes, I invite my angels to drink with me, ride with me in the car, and when I'm doing fun things. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Can you do a video manifestation? Can you do a video manifestation book? Oh, I actually have some videos up on my page with book recommendations, if that was your question. I think I've got 2 up with book recommendations. But off the top of my head, depending on where you are on your spiritual journey and what your level of knowledge is, a really good book for beginners is Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Body. She also has one, You Can Heal Your Life. And then Wayne Dyer, I mean, that's like your, I mean, those books laid the foundation for everything, I think. And a good one of his to start out with is the Power of Intention. So those two are great. And as you get, again, I don't know where you are as far as your knowledge is concerned about spirituality, but as you get more advanced, check out Wayne Dyer's book. There's a spiritual solution to every problem. Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life is another great one by Wayne Dyer. A Course in Miracles. That one's highly intellectual. Takes a long time to read and figure it out, okay? Anything Abraham Hicks is great. Just so many good ones. Oh, thank you. You're so sharp and beautiful. Thank you. You all are very kind. Yes, I love Wayne Dyer too. That man changed my life. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's a cool story. Raphael spelled his name out in huge rainbow cursive letters in my dream. Wow. When did that happen? Was that recently? Yes, A Course in Miracles is very deep. So, how do you know when you are channeling, asking for myself? You know, I don't really consider myself someone to be like Esther Hicks, because she actually channels Abraham, and I haven't had experiences that are that profound, but on a smaller level, the word channeling, I don't know if that's what I would call what I do. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I get into the flow and everything is effortless, whether I'm talking to you guys or I'm writing or I'm developing new content. It comes to me very effortlessly. And anytime that an idea has just bam, you know, out of the clear blue kind of thing, and I have an intuitive nudge to act on it, even though it's something I wouldn't normally talk about or do. Anytime that I have followed that divine guidance, which probably is the same as channeling, really, I have had significant responses from people, you know, in the, you know, hundreds of thousands. And so I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, I can talk about that a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fit at 50. You all need to listen to this. She says, now when I'm really hurting or in trouble, I reach out to them. I feel like they're my besties now. And she's talking about the angels. She's right. The more you reach out, it's like you're cultivating a relationship. It's like a partnership. It's like any partnership. It's like a business partnership or any kind of partnership, a relationship, intimate, platonic, whatever, family. If you don't talk to someone, you don't communicate with someone regularly, then you don't make that connection. You don't get to know that person, and they don't get to know you. So it's the exact same thing on the spiritual side of the fence. So that's the best thing you can do to strengthen that relationship and really get the help that you need from your angels, because that's what they're there for. I mean, they're on standby, and that's what I've been taught, and that's what I have experienced. Okay, and usually, I think my relationship with them is so strong at this point, I'll get help right away on just about anything, the small stuff and the big stuff, and it usually comes to me in a way that is so clear and so profound. There's no mistaking it. I mean, it's foolproof. Oh, wow. The staircase was the brightest white, and then A.A. Raphael spelled his name in pastel across the sky. Wow. That is wild. Did anything happen after that? Did anything like significant happen to you? A big manifestation come through or anything like that? Soul Sisters mediumship. Yes, you're right. They do want to work for us and help. Yes. I mean, why would we not use that divine resource? I mean, come on. They don't make mistakes. That's left to us human beings. So if we have got this, these divine beings that can do anything, with them, anything is possible. So if we've got them on standby, why wouldn't we ask for help? I tell my coaching clients that a whole lot. Ask for help. Ask for help all day long. I don't think we ask for help enough. To be quite honest, we need to be asking for help all the time. And I think that when we do that, then we open the door to that creative intuition and all the intuitive power, that is us. So, Jenny, how did you manifest wealth? Have you got a year? I convinced myself that I was wealthy when I wasn't. I mean, that's what I did. And the way I did it, and I will tell you, I get a lot of comments from people saying, "Well, you've always been wealthy." Oh no, I have not. No. When I was broke as a joke and living with my mother in a tiny house in a shitty subdivision, her and I were not poverty stricken, but I mean, we were poor in more ways than one, emotionally and financially. And I was a very, very unhappy person. And it was just the outcome of a poverty-invaded mindset is what I call it, because I was raised by people who were born and bred into the deepest poverty imaginable. And although I wasn't raised in the deepest poverty imaginable, they passed that mindset on to me. And so I was led to believe that money was hard to come by, and life is very hard, and some people are blessed and some people aren't, and some people are just, born into wealth, and some people aren't, and if you aren't, well, basically you're screwed. Well, that's not true at all, because we're all on equal playing ground here. I know some people are born at an advantage, I get that. But God doesn't play favorites. So wealth is here and wealth is here. And when I realized that, and I learned that there's enough abundance for every freaking body, then I was able to see my relationship with wealth differently. And my first step was convincing myself that I could be a wealthy person. And then I just kept taking it a step further. And I started meditating, which was a really unlikely thing for me to do. And I started envisioning what my life would look like as a wealthy person. And then through envisioning, I was able to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And although that my checking account was overdrawn most of the time, and I was writing cold checks for stuff that I needed, I still, in my heart and soul, knew that I was a wealthy person. And it took me, I had a lot of baggage to unload, in my, emotional baggage from my subconscious mind. And so it took me maybe longer than it would others. But from start to finish, I manifested wealth. It took about 15 years. No, probably more like 13 years. But through that time, through that gap in time, more opportunities kept coming to me that brought in money. And so with every year that went by, I was either making more money or more money was coming in from other sources, expected and unexpected. And so it was a slow burn, but I kept moving up in one way or the other. I kept moving up. And so when you are manifesting wealth, don't try to manifest wealth. That's what screws you up. You've just got to brainwash yourself into believing that you are wealthy. And if you really don't believe that at all, and it just doesn't feel natural at all, then go in increments. Just start small, and then just, as you start to believe in yourself more, and you believe that you can be wealthy, then just keep adding zeros, as I say, because the universe can't distinguish between $10 or $10 million. It's whatever you believe that you can have. And that was like the piece of the puzzle that brought me to where I am today, and where I was, you know, to when I finally got to the point that I believed I was wealthy a few years back. So it was a process. I mean, I did a lot of things. I used every spiritual practice, every manifestation technique in the book, but when it boiled right down to it, I had to get into a wealthy mindset. And that's not spiritual mumbo jumbo, it's true. And I'll tell you, a book that really, really helped me out was Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And he lays it out. I mean, he lays everything out for you to tell you what you've got to do to manifest wealth, okay? I see people with money were lucky, and we were not the lucky ones according to my mom. Oh, same here. I was taught the exact same bullshit. Exact same thing here. And when somebody drills that into your head, and you're in a family where you've got parents that bicker and argue over money and always worried over money, it gets to you, and you start to believe it, and you start to model those behaviors. I mean, I remember being as young as 5 and 6 years old and being worried about money, and that is just really not good for a child that young. It's just not. I mean, our brains aren't even fully developed until we're 25. So I don't have any kids of my own, but I have 2 stepkids. And I came into my stepdaughter's life when she was barely 3, and my stepson was maybe 7 or 8 when I came into his life. And in the beginning of mine and my husband's marriage, we had our fair share of financial struggles, But I never once, ever mentioned that around those kids, ever. And I don't talk a lot about money around them now. Amanda Lynn, yes, going through a divorce. My ex-husband is laughing at me in front of our toddler, saying he won. I'm sure that is giving you your fair share of struggles, and I'm sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, we can't change anybody. All we can do is monitor ourselves, manage our emotions. That's all we can do. Divorce is cold. I've never been through a divorce except my parents' divorce, and their divorce was incredibly brutal. And yeah, it'll take a toll on you. I'm sorry you're going through that, but I guarantee that you're going to be way happier and way better off being out of that marriage. And I don't even know anything about it. I just instinctively feel that. Well, hey there, Rose. I don't have the big trees up yet. I'm starting with the mantles because these mantles are like one of the most time-consuming things, and so I'm getting those out of the way first. Then I'll put up the big 15-footer. That's probably going to be on Monday. But unfortunately, I got to bring Will, my husband, into it and talk about managing your emotions. Because he does not like for me to start all this as early as I do. But I have to, because it takes me 2 or 3 weeks, and I like to have it done before Thanksgiving. He doesn't seem to understand that. This takes time. Sounds like Cody. That's funny. They don't get it. They don't get it. They just don't. And he knows how long this takes me too, because I do everything by hand. He knows this. How do you connect with spirit guides? So, talk to them. I'm not a medium or psychic or anything like that, and so connecting with spirit guides is not like within my wheelhouse really. But I can tell you, it all starts with communicating, inviting them in. We were just, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about connecting with our angels and communicating with our angels a little bit ago. But it's basically the same technique, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on mediums and psychics? I believe in both. I believe in both. I mean, I think that, I don't think that there are as many people with those gifts out there that claim to have those gifts, but I do think that absolutely hands down believe that there are people who do have those gifts. And I think that the people that have psychic abilities, if they use that gift, I do think it's from God, and I think they have it to help people. And I think that if they go to the dark side of the fence with their gift, then they create some bad karma. But I think if they go to the good side and they use that gift to help people, I think that they are absolutely a godsend. I really do. Is there a such thing as an old soul? Oh my God, I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that. And this is why. And I do believe that we have past lives. I do believe that. And that ties into my opinions about old soul, okay? So I came out of the womb an old soul. Not that I didn't make mistakes or that I wasn't like extremely immature when I was younger, but, because everybody is, but I was like giving advice to people when I was 7 and 8 years old. Like I was emotionally higher and more advanced than my peers. And that's the way it always was. So think about, I'm sure you know someone like that. So, and then think about the person who is just lost from day one. And they never get it right. And they can't make any decisions on their own. They have to consult everybody else. And it's like they're, 50 or 60 years old, and they're still stuck in the same place that they were when they were a teenager, okay? Now, that's not an old soul. And so I think, and this is just my opinion, okay? Just my opinion. I have no idea if I'm right or wrong. None of us know if I'm right or wrong. So it's just my opinion. Doesn't really mean anything. But it is an informed opinion, okay? So when somebody is an old soul, I believe that they are carrying wisdom and knowledge over from lives they've lived before. That's what I think. And I think that those people who just absolutely remain clueless their entire lives possibly haven't lived before, or maybe they've just been on Earth maybe a time or two. So that's my opinion. Being a child and having an old soul is so difficult. Yes, it is. It actually is. And it interfered with my relationships a lot. And it interfered with school. Man, I hated school. Like kindergarten through the 12th grade. Oh, well, I actually dropped out of high school at my junior year. Oh my God, I hated high school. I hated it. I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like a fish out of water. Now, I went on to college later in life. I went to college, and I think I started when I was 25, got a bachelor's, got a master's. I got more degrees than a thermometer right now. But kindergarten through, elementary school, middle school, high school, if they say those are the best years of our life, that is absolute bullshit. And so me being an old soul really tied into that because nobody else was. None of my peers were. I think old souls have lived numerous lifetimes. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. That's what I just said. I dropped out too. I got bullied the whole time. Me too. When I was in high school, it got so bad that I was afraid to walk from the parking lot to the building. It was really that bad. And I didn't deal with that too well either. I mean, I egged some of it on. Love that mirror. Thank you, Amazon. Hated school. Yep, me too. But I loved college. Thank you, Amber. That's right. Love college. Hated elementary, middle, and high school. College was my jam. I loved it. I dropped out too. Got bullied so bad. Yep, same here. Same here. I loved school, all grades. I just loved it. It makes me sound unique. That's awesome, though. I mean, that's awesome. I really wish I would have loved it. I do. I really do, because I feel like that I missed out on a lot. I don't really have regrets, but I feel like I missed out on a lot because of the way I was about school. Have you ever done past life regression? Yeah. I don't do that for people, but I have had it done. And as of recent, and on TikTok, you should look up Becky Lyons. She's in the United Kingdom. She's a buddy of mine. She is an Akashic Records expert. And so over the past year, I guess, I've had 2 or 3 Akashic Records readings with Becky. That's awesome. I learned a whole lot. And having your Akashic Records read, God, that's a tongue twister, that's real similar to past life regression. So, yeah, she's great. Look her up. She's great. Hey, when I say she's an expert, she's an expert. It's Rebecca Lyons is her name. Goes by Becky Lyons. So she's on TikTok. She's more active on Instagram. On Instagram, she's Rebecca Lyons. And she just started her TikTok page up again. She had shut it down for some reason. I can't remember why. But now it's back up and running. And she's going to be more active on TikTok in the future. So, and it's out. I'm seeing David, Rebecca Lyons. It's actually Lyons. Lyons, not I. So, are you vegan? I'm not. However, I'm a student of Deepak Chopra's, and I have been studying at the Chopra Center now for over a year, and I'm working on this total well-being coach certification, which is very prestigious certification. There's 3 legs to it. I've completed the first 2. The first one was primordial sound meditation instruction, any kind of meditation instruction. The second one was Ayurveda. Now the third one is more about human behavior and psychology, but your question about are you vegan ties into Ayurveda. Now, I'm not saying that people are vegan that practice the Ayurveda lifestyle, but it's led me more to that, in that direction, because I don't eat a lot. I don't eat meat, really. I eat mainly fish, no dairy. I cut dairy out. Not that I won't eat it. I just don't as much as I used to, or hardly at all. So I'm moving more to the plant-based side, and I feel so much better. And I had high cholesterol a few years back. It's perfect now, and so my blood pressure's down. Please talk about overcoming bullying as an adult. Well, you know what? I really didn't overcome bullying until I was 30, because I was bullied in more ways than one. Like, when you're raised by a true narcissistic person, hang on just one second. Are we decorating? Yes, but I'm answering questions about anything in the spiritual space, because that's my expertise while I decorate, okay? So, back to what I was saying. So, I was raised by a textbook narcissist, and when you are in an environment and at home, you know, you're being raised by a narcissist, you are bullied in more ways than one. It's like, you know, just manipulation at its finest. It's a lot of mind games, a lot of head games. And so I went into the bullying at school with not a whole lot of confidence and really low self-esteem. Didn't really believe in myself at all. And so I put up this tough exterior to cover all of that up. But the truth was I was really, really scared to death and very fearful of everything. And because I lived in fear and worry and doubting myself for so long, that manifested into health issues. I used to be sick all the time. Like, if anyone who's known me my entire life, I used to be sick all the time. I had these debilitating head colds all the time. Eventually developed a rare bladder condition called interstitial cystitis. And so when we hold these feelings of fear and worry and anxiety and we're stressed for decades without any relief, that turns into inflammation in the body. And so that's why I stayed sick all the time. And I didn't understand that. And so your question, how did I overcome bullying? It wasn't until I found spirituality and threw myself into that, because I was so desperate for answers. And organized religion sure as hell never made any sense to me. All that did was scare me more, screw me up more, make me worry more, being told who I was and who I was supposed to be versus who I knew I was and who I wanted to be. And so it was just this emotional tug of war for so many years. And that bullying was at the core of that. And when you are made to feel lesser than as a child, it really can get the best of you as an adult. And if you don't catch it, it can destroy your whole life. And there's no exaggeration there. And so when I was about 29, 30, and I started studying spirituality, stumbled across manifestation, which is something I had never heard of before. I'd never heard of the spiritual laws, law of attraction, none of that. And it made sense to me, and nothing else had. And when I realized why things were the way they were, why people were the way they were, then I was able to forgive all of those people who had bullied me, because I was able to look at them with empathy, through a lens of empathy and compassion. Because nobody's going to bully you if they are confident and secure. Doesn't work that way. People who are confident and secure, they don't bully other people. They don't have a reason to, because they don't seek validation externally. They don't need to make someone else feel bad to make themselves feel good. And so when I realized all of this, because nobody ever taught me this, instead of having me dissect a frog in middle school, they should have been teaching me this. So it took me that long to figure all of that out. And so when I was able to see my world and myself, my place in it, and how the world should treat me from a totally different perspective than I had been taught, that's when I was able to beat all of that stuff that spawned from bullying. I know that was a big old long answer, but that's a big old question. Teresa, religion puts us in a guilty state. Yes, it does. And guilty is a useless feeling. Guilty is just like worry. Worrying is the exact same thing as praying for what we don't want. Feeling guilty is an absolute complete waste of time. It does no good. It is this made up thing that society taught us that we're supposed to feel guilty. You know, we're supposed to worry. I used to feel guilty over everything, and that was a huge part of my people-pleasing days. So, I've come a long way. And if I can come as far as I have, good Lord, anybody can. But there's no need to ever feel guilty. That's a taught thing. It's fear, it's ego. And so is worry, and so is regret. I mean, but we are taught to embrace those feelings for whatever reason. It's like the bad stuff's easier to believe than the good. I don't know. Society does that to us. The more confident someone is, the more quiet they are. Oh, you better believe it. The loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room. Every single time. Somebody who's quiet might not want to be too judgy too quick, because you might be sitting in front of a real life genius. Let's see, the more disempowered we are, the easier we are to control. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because we feel like that we need other people. We feel like we aren't enough, and we got to have so-and-so to help us do what we need to do. And if we're disempowered, then we feel weak. And so it's just all turns into, you know, this really big cycle. And when we're disempowered, usually we aren't self-reliant. And when we don't accomplish self-reliance, we put ourselves into a situation where we're at the mercy of others. And when we're at the mercy of others, then our happiness depends on their actions. And that puts us in a really disempowering state, because we can't put our happiness into someone else's hands. Because when we do that, we're screwed. Because people have free will, and they can make a decision at the spur of the moment that you don't expect. They can make you unhappy. And so that's something that, I mean, when they say, you've heard the saying, happiness is an inside job, that's the absolute truth. So I've been working on manifestation for years, but for the last year, money leaves fast, constantly. So what you're saying is, maybe you are able to attract the money that you want. Thank you, Bree. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So are you saying that you can attract money, but then you aren't able to keep it? Is that what you mean? Money comes and goes just as fast. Well, but it's meant to. It's meant to. So when you spend money, you're benefiting somebody, okay? And it's supposed to. Money is nothing but energy. And this is another thing. When I learned this about money, I was able to manifest it way easier and in larger amounts. So everything is energy. Everything. And so when you see money as energy, okay, then it demystifies it a little bit. Because energy is supposed to keep circulating, okay? And you can think of it as like a stagnant pond water. You ever seen a pond water that's just stagnant? Like, it smells bad and nothing's happening, nothing's, you know, alive. It's just gross, you know, because nobody's doing anything with it. So money's kind of the same thing. You got to keep it circulating. And so when energy is not moving, then nothing's happening. And so when money is going out fast, that's really what it's supposed to do. you're supposed to, I mean, money's supposed to be spent. And so what I started doing a long time ago is, instead of worrying about the money going out, then I would be grateful for that money going out, because I knew that I was keeping it moving. And the more that you know, you're spending, the more you're giving money, giving away, whatever, the more comes back. And so, because it's all energy. It's just like somebody, think about a person who sits around all the time, doesn't move, doesn't exercise, just basically just doesn't do anything. They're just there at this stagnant spot. Okay? And then as they get older, they can't move, they can't walk around, they're on a walker, they're limping, they're out of breath, and they go up steps. It's because they are not using their energy the way they're supposed to, in a way that creates good energy, okay? And so if you can just think about money like that, like from just energy, it's energy, just like anything else, then it makes it a little bit easier when you got to keep spending it. And when you spend it, just think, this is benefiting somebody. Think that. So I'm grateful for that, because I'm keeping it moving. And then think, this is going to come back to me tenfold. Every time you spend money, it's going to come back to me tenfold. This is going to come back to me 50-fold. This is going to come back to me. You know, say that, think that. Every freaking time you spend money, works like a charm. Thank you, Amber. But money is such a mystery to people, especially to people who want it so badly and they've never had it. And that causes them to, I'm not saying everybody, but I can speak on this because I used to be this person. But it can cause them to feel very resentful about their place in the world, and it can cause people to be very envious of people that they see, that they perceive have more than they do. And I'm going to tell you, if you're broke and you're mad about being broke, and you see somebody that's wealthy, and your first thought is, screw them, they don't deserve that, I deserve that, and you start judging how they got the money, just start judging them to pieces, right? That blocks you from money. The way to look at those people, and jealousy is very misdirected. When you're jealous of somebody, they have something that you want. And so that's kind of another kind of crazy feeling, like guilt, worry, regret, because it's misdirected. And so instead of being envious and feeling, because to me, jealousy and hate are interchangeable terms. So hate's not going to do anything but attract in more hateful things. And so if you're broke and you see somebody who's wealthy and your immediate thought is jealousy, and you just start ripping them apart in your mind, they've just got something that you want. How the hell did they get it? So instead of being jealous of them, learn from them, watch them, observe them. Janie Moore, Polly, you remind me so much of me, right down to our parents. Well, good. That's good. That means we can connect here. Thank you for letting me know. So happy to hear you live. Thank you. I'm trying to get into the habit of doing this more often. It's a time factor. I love doing it. Like every time I go live, I get on here, I think, okay, I'm going to spend, 15, 20 minutes or so. I end up being on here for every single time, over an hour or longer. Because I love talking to you all. And I learn from you all too. What age did everything switch for you? I was about 29 when I started thinking differently. But things didn't really switch, really, for a couple of years after that. My reality really didn't start to change for a couple of years, but I was really confused. I didn't know what to do. because I immediately jumped into the manifestation thing, trying to manifest a bunch of money because I thought that money would solve all my problems. I sure did need money. I did. I needed a lot of money because I was broke and I needed to help my mother, and I was just in a really bad situation, and hell yeah, I needed money. But I realized that I wasn't going to be able to turn anything around until I dealt with myself and took responsibility for everything that had happened to me instead of blaming everybody and playing the victim, when facts were, I'm the one that was attracting all of that. And so my life took a shift, a real shift, when I was about 30. I was about 32. I was about 32. And I just kept moving up. Not that I didn't have hard times. I did. But I dealt with those a lot better. And they weren't as hard as they had been before. And that's a key indicator that you have elevated energetically. When, yeah, things might be tough, but not as tough as they were. So, I'm 29 now. Did you go into isolation? Actually, I did. I really did. I went from being the biggest barfly ever to staying at home, turning my phone off. I turned my closet into a meditation room because that's the only spot in my house that I had any privacy at all. And so, yeah, I did. I started I remember going to the bookstore on the weekends and buying spiritual books. So, yeah, I did. I still went out with my friends occasionally, but not like I had before. And my social circle diminished fast from about, no exaggeration, I'd say 50 people to 5. So, yeah. So, yeah, I did. I had to. Sometimes we have to. That's the only way that we can get that silence that we need, the clarity that we need, is to be with ourselves. And when we are alone and in the silence, then we are forced to face things. And when we're in a crowded room with a bunch of people at a bar, or, you're not going to receive any messages or any in a situation like that. You just about have to go into isolation when you start your spiritual path. It's almost a prerequisite, in my opinion. It's a great question. Yes, me too. Isolation. People get upset when you start evolving. Oh God, I was talked about like a dog. They call me crazy. Yeah, they do get very upset because you're not giving them what they want anymore. And before a spiritual evolution, most of us are bombarded with toxic people. And usually that's what leads us down a spiritual path, because we're like, I can't take this shit anymore. That's how I was. I'm going through people talking about me like a dog, and they will. And you know what? They're not your people anyway. I mean, the people that didn't talk about me like a dog, they're still standing. I guess people talking badly about you is a good sign. It actually is. It actually is. I mean, people that do not have a high level of emotional intelligence, they talk about other people, and they rarely have anything nice to say. And it's just because they feel threatened. That's it. They feel threatened. Morgan, I love you too. I wish I could see you. They feel threatened, and they're afraid that you are going to evolve and be successful because they're too fearful to do it. And so we intimidate those people on so many different levels I had to just be like, okay, I don't care. I had to get to the point that I just flat out, I just did not care. And that's why people call a lot of us spiritual folks selfish. That's why, because we're not willing to sacrifice our needs, our wants, our energy to give them what they want anymore. When I gave people what they wanted instead of giving myself what I wanted, I was sick. I was broke and I was sick. And I remember, oh my God, I would binge drink a lot. And I cried a lot. And I wasn't well. And it's because I allowed people to steal my energy and constantly do things I didn't want to do. And so I was hateful and resentful. And so with a spiritual evolution, when you start this is a lot of work. This is work, a lot of work. When you start this inner work, you just really release the need for any kind of bullshit like that at all, period. Like you become absolutely, you have no tolerance for it. And when those people go, then the people that come in match the new energy. And that really pisses the old ones off because they get replaced with people who actually care about you and your well-being. They want to see you successful. Those other people don't want to see you successful. They're scared to freaking death you're going to be successful. So of course they're going to talk bad about you. So that's just part of it. Like anybody who has gone through a spiritual transformation, we all have the same story. All of us, like, have gone to war with the people, that were in our life. Where is your book? Okay. It's in right now, okay? It is in the stages of publication, and it will launch at the beginning of the year. Along with the book, I'm in the middle of a branding campaign. This is all new. And when it's published, I will do a virtual launch party. I'm going to do a book tour, and I'll keep everybody informed. It'll be for sale on TikTok Shop, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Ingram Spark. It'll be for sale in a lot of different places. And so, but along with that is a podcast and all kinds of fun stuff, and I'm very excited about it, and it's been a long road. What's your expertise writing a book? Well, I've been a writer for about 20 years, but I was a grant writer up until September of 2019, and I'd always had a desire to do creative writing. I always wanted to write a self-help book, and so it was a dream of mine. And so I tried my hand at it, failed just really failed admirably. I got mixed up with a vanity publisher. That was a bad mistake. But now I'm on the right track. But back to your question about expertise. And so I have several writing certifications. I've gone through Hay House's Writers Community Program, Gabby Bernstein's Bestseller Masterclass. I'm a student of Deepak Chopra's. I have a graduate degree, and so basically I'm definitely qualified to write a book. But my expertise really comes from the qualitative piece of it, the experience, the wisdom that I have obtained through just trial and error and studying under the greats, Deepak, Wayne, Abraham Hicks, Louise Hay, Gabby Bernstein, Napoleon Hill, Eckhart Tolle, Neville Goddard. I mean, I can keep going. I've taken, oh, my dog, Lord have mercy. I've taken numerous workshops, and so just put all of that together, okay? And Kyla, do you need to be qualified to write a book? Not really, because anybody can write a book. Where the qualifications come in, really is with the editing and the formatting and the proofreading, and it's those people that really need to be qualified to help the author. The book cover designer, all of those people, because it really does take a huge team of people to put a book together. And I was naive going into it, and so now I have a newfound respect for anybody that's written a book and published it. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, Alexandria. That is so sweet. Thank you. I'm glad you're here for it. You all are giving me an opportunity to do what I love to do. You have wonderful skin. Oh, thank you. I work hard at it. I'm 46 years old, and I do a lot to maintain the skin. And I started working on that when I was, about 30 years old, and I haven't stopped since. Do you have a title for your book? So I'm not supposed to reveal too much about that. I better not say anything. Yes, I do. I do. And it's based on a concept that I developed. It's mine. It's not anybody else's. And it's it's in the middle of getting trademarked right now. There's some copyright laws involved, which is out of my jurisdiction. I've hired people to handle all of that. I got an attorney, a CPA. So I can't really say too much, but yes, I do. And I've mentioned it before. Like, I've mentioned the concept that this book is based on and the title is based on. I've mentioned that before. So if you went back through my videos, you could probably find it, but I'm not supposed to say too much about it right now. We got a visitor. Somebody's woke up from their nap. We'll say hi. What topic does your book fall under? Spiritual or beauty or something else? It's in the spiritual space. It's a self-help book, and it's about teaching people just a higher way of thinking. I mean, it's written for people like me who were raised in toxic environments, and they may or may not be aware of why things don't go their way. But in the book, they learn that it usually traces back to lies that we were told as kids. It's subjective beliefs that kind of rule our lives when we should be looking at things objectively. Opinions are opinions. They're not right or wrong. They're just opinions. But we need to be looking at the facts. Mary Rose, it's good to see you again too. Do you still communicate with your parents after your spiritual journey happened? My mother and I are very close, but I terminated the relationship with my father in 2015. And many people associated with him, so I cut ties with them. I had to. It was the best thing for me, and it's a horrible situation, very sad, but it's something that I had to do for myself, and I don't regret it. I came to terms with it a long time ago. I do not hate those people. I forgave them 100% fully and completely forgave them. I harbor no anger, no resentment, no nothing. It's just best that we don't cross paths. And sometimes you got to do that. You really do. Sometimes you got to do it. It's hard, but it had to be done. But my mother and I are still close. She's a nut. My sister and I have cut ties, and it's for the best. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure you know what's best for you. I don't ever, when someone says that they have a toxic parent or a toxic family member, and they want to cut ties with that person, I don't ever say, oh, you can't do that, because that's your dad, or that's your mom, or that's your sister. I'm not of that school of thought. Not saying I'm right, not saying I'm wrong, but just because somebody is a blood relative does not entitle them to abuse you, steal your energy. They're not entitled to you just because they're your blood relative. If anybody is causing you grief and abusing you, you gotta cut them off, no matter who it is. I mean, that's how I live my life, and it's a lot happier now that I live my life that way. I cut ties with my in-laws after my husband died. They are cruel. I hate to hear that. But if your husband has passed and they're not respectful people, it's like, if that relationship's not serving you, hey, does your book teach us how to protect your energy? The whole book is focused on how to protect your energy and why you should do it. And it's, most of it is my original work, but everything is backed by science. Everything in the book is backed by science. Hang on, I need to get my water. Okay, I'm back. Cut ties with my mother-in-law a year and a half ago because she's a cruel old woman. If relationships don't serve us, there's no need in sticking around. Oh my God, can't wait. Me either. I can't wait to get this book out. I can't wait. Do you have a tentative release date for your book? I do. There is a chance that it might be out by the end of the year. But with everything that has transpired just in the past week, I'm thinking it might take a little bit longer. So I'm telling everybody the beginning of the new year, because I'm very confident that it will be ready by then. How can I purchase your book? It'll be available. It'll be available everywhere. Like, and I'll keep everybody posted through TikTok, but I'm going to have it in TikTok Shop. It'll be on Amazon, Ingram Spark, Barnes and Noble. It'll be in all the hot spots. Thank you, Mary Rose. I am so excited. Any advice on what you do to protect your energy? Oh my gosh. I protect my energy all day long, every single day. And the number one best way you can do that is to say no. I don't people please. I mean, I'm married. I've got 2 stepkids. I've got family members. I mean, I've got people that count on me. And so, yeah, sure. Yes, I'm going to do an audio book. Yes, you will be able to get it on Audible. And there are people that count on me. So, of course, I mean, I do things on occasion that I don't want to do. I mean, as we all do. But on a day-to-day basis, I know what I have to do to protect my energy. And I meditate twice a day, primordial sound meditation. I meditate anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes in the morning, anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes in the evening. I do pranayama. Now, those 2 things help me be emotionally resilient, and they help me to release inflammation in my body. They help me to release stress. And doing that makes you more emotionally resilient, because that way that stress doesn't accumulate. Because when stress accumulates, then it starts to take you over mentally and physically. And since the mind controls the body, if you're doing meditation and you're doing pranayama every single day, that stress is not going to accumulate. You're going to release it, okay? And that way your mind and your body doesn't become this landfill of emotional baggage, right? So that ties into how I protect my energy. I don't overcommit. I got a lot of people who pull and tug at me, and I love them all, but they like to talk on the phone. And I don't have time to talk on the phone for hours and hours a day. And I learned a long time ago that doing that really frustrated me and stressed me out, because I was staying on the phone and I wasn't able to do what I really wanted and needed to do. And so I have to say no. That's why the first thing I said about protecting energy is saying no. You got to know your limitations. You got to know what makes you happy and what makes you sad. And if you're not willing to let go of what makes you sad, then you're never going to be able to protect your energy. And I don't engage in things that cause me to be frustrated and irritated. I stay away from it. If I know that I'm going to have to do something that frustrates me, then I will prepare for it emotionally and mentally a couple days beforehand. I'll ask the angels to come in and help me. I'll get very grounded, meditate a little more, meditate a little longer. I also exercise a lot. Exercise has been a miracle worker for me in more ways than one. And so every day of my life, my whole life is about protecting my energy, creating good energy that aligns with the good stuff. I seriously hate having small or even long talks on the phone. I don't like talking on the phone either. And that's the only way that I can communicate, with the people that I love. But I really have to be careful about that because it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating with all the phone calls. It really does. I'd rather see someone in person. I want to see you in person. Working out helps me so much. Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, guys, my little dog has got to go outside and potty. And I've been on here like an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm going to close out. But I so appreciate you guys joining me. And I will come back live again next week. And if you have any specific topics that you would like for me to cover, then I can do that. And full disclosure here, TikTok has started this live subscription thing. And TikTok there's a lot to figure out. And I'm working on the live subscription thing. I really don't know how that benefits you all, but I'm working on that. And so I will be going live more often because I love doing it. I love talking to you all. Now, this is fun. This is not like talking on the phone. This is fun. Oh, there's Amy. Hey, Amy. Thank you, Spike. Thank you all so much. I'm going to jump off and let my little dog out, and I will be seeing you all real soon. I'm going to be continuing to work on these Christmas decorations. So I'm closing out. See you guys later. Thank you so much.